We have heard tales of people making it through weeks in the Amazon jungle or on uninhabited islands. Such tales demonstrate the tenacity and resiliency of humans. But one incident will surprise you in all of these scenarios. It is the story of a man who spent 3 days underwater at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in a sunken ship. He did not have an oxygen tank, electricity, communication equipment, or food. Yet he managed to survive.
It all took place on a tugboat traveling through Atlantic waters along the coast of Nigeria on the particular day in 2013. Early in the morning, a light storm struck. Oil tankers were being towed by the tugboat. Suddenly, a massive wave appeared. As a result, the rope was broken while being dragged by the tank. The tugboat flipped over about 4:30 in the morning. The ship got stranded on the thin surface since the entire deck was submerged. The ship started to sink. The 12 crew members became gradually trapped in their closed rooms. Since there were a lot of pirates in these waters, they had locked their cabin doors as a precaution. The rooms were locked and they couldn't leave, but Chef Harrison Okene was in the bathroom at the time. The bathroom had been turned upside down. Harrison slipped and hit the roof. All of the clothing and bathroom shelves fell on his head. Being in a state of shock, he had no idea what was going on. He became aware that the ship was sinking when he heard the screams of the other crew members.
Harrison clung to the walls as he attempted to stand up. He walked out of the cabin slowly. The water level rose above his head. Harrison took a deep breath. He became terrified after witnessing all of this. He made his way to the engineering room. There was no water in this chamber. Harrison considered this to be the safest spot for him. He had nothing to eat or drink at the moment. He was in a cold, damp room. Due to the cold, Harrison's feet became frozen. There appeared to be a very little hope of surviving. Inside the room, he discovered a soda bottle, a life jacket, and 2 flashlights. The ship had descended 100 feet to the ocean below by this point. Outside the door, Harrison heard a weird movement. Sharks and other fish were probing the deck. Harrison's optimism started to fade at this moment. Lack of food, supplies, and pressure were just a few of the challenges, which meant there was also very little oxygen.
Harrison had less than a day to breathe as the typical individual utilizes roughly 350 cubic feet of air every 24 hours. He persisted in this state, though for about 60 hours. The air roughly doubled in volume due to the extreme pressure surrounding the ship. He also has breathing issues. We take in oxygen when we breathe. Carbon dioxide is released when we exhale. If the airborne concentration of this substance is even 5%, it poses a threat to our health. Harrison gradually pumped carbon dioxide into the space. There was no way out of that room. With each passing hour, his breathing became more challenging, but once more he was fortunate. Harrison carries and disperses the carbon dioxide that is absorbed by water throughout the room. He unintentionally reduced carbon dioxide and increased water surface area in this way. But his troubles did not stop there. A room that is cold and gloomy might cause hypothermia.
You experience coldness and impaired vision when your body temperature falls below 95 degrees. You are unaware of your surroundings and the events taking place. You may endure memory loss as well as terminal borrowing. When suffering from hypothermia, a person may exhibit this peculiar behavior by looking for a modest shelter, even inside of a closed space. He might even begin digging barehanded into the chilly ground. A person may also go completely unconscious at the same time. Within 2 hours, Harrison's room was flooded with ice water from underneath. He would not have lived in those conditions if he had been laying on the floor for several hours, but he was able to build a little platform out of a mattress. He positioned it just above the water surface. The survivor brains are becoming more and more gripped by fear and hopelessness with each passing moment. Due to a variety of factors, he was unable to leave.
Harrison was unable to perceive the sunlight despite its deep penetration. The flashlight had stopped working and the soda bottle was almost empty. Though he was in the dark, yet he was about to find salvation. Harrison was contemplating his life and family as rescuers were searching for survivors. Harrison noticed light coming from a hole in the wreck and divers looking out over the water. It was his only hope of survival. Harrison came out of the air. Rockets started moving in the direction of the rescuers. He was making his way through the darkness. The beams from the divers' flashlights vanished. The divers were at the opposite end of the deck when Harrison tried to find them in a blind search. Harrison decided to go back since he was out of oxygen. There was almost no air left in his lungs. He began to suffocate but managed to reach the rescue room.
It wasn't hopelessness, but it was his only way out. Harrison made a second effort after regaining his breath and restoring his oxygen levels in his lungs. He noticed a diver as soon as he left the room. He made every effort to move toward him. Harrison went unnoticed by the lifeguard. Harrison tapped him on the back of the neck and firmly grabbed his hand. The diver was initially terrified before realizing that a living person was in front of him. As he ran out of oxygen, Harrison swam to his room while being guided by the lifeguard. On the internet, you can obtain a recording from a diver's camera in which the terrified Harrison was in his rescue room while meeting the diver.
He was given an oxygen mask by rescuers. They couldn't believe there was a living person in front of them. Pressure prevented Harrison from instantly coming to the surface. He was on the seabed for over 60 hours. He was promptly brought to the hospital after his condition significantly worsened as a result.
That's it for today. Bye for now.